Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my go-to quick get ready with me on a daily basis. The products I've been reaching for recently. It's pretty easy and I will take you through step by step. So without further ado, let's get into it. Looks like I'm naked, but I'm not. I'm taking this from Drunk Elephant. It's the LaLa Retro Whipped Cream and I'm just gonna get a pretty decent amount. I like to load up on moisturizer before makeup. So I'm taking this much. I'm just gonna take it between my fingers. I like to gently rub that all over the skin and then I will just press it too. Sometimes I will actually go in with a little bit more on certain areas that I know I tend to get drier on. I feel like the more hydrated I am, the more powder my skin can take. I do have oily combo skin, so I do get oily in the T-zone. I still like to be overhydrated. This is the Belif Moisturizing Eye Balm and I'm gonna press that under the eye, and then I'm taking like the remainder after doing that and putting it onto my lid up to my brow bone. If I'm trying to get ready quick, I still spend the most amount of time on my face and complexion. I'm going to pop on a lip balm just to prep my lips. This is the NARS Orgasm Afterglow Lip Balm. I've talked about this foundation a bunch recently. This is the Dior Backstage foundation and this is in the shade 3WO. So I take a little bit onto my finger. To be honest, when I'm really just trying to get ready quickly, I will just use my fingers with this foundation because it works really well. I will press it and then just rub a little bit on. I like to work in very thin layers with this, or really anything that I'm using, because that way you can really see how much coverage it's giving you. The less you use at a time, the more you can build up, and it's easier to build up rather than to remove. I have a little excess redness always around my nose and around my cheeks, just around the nose area. I'm literally just taking that much extra, and I'm just gonna rub that around the sides of my nose. I have veins, you can see on my jawline here. I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation here. It just comes down to personal preference. It looks like you just have the most flawless skin and it's a little more realistic when you use less makeup and let certain things kind of peek through, but that's just a personal preference. For concealer, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and these are just my personal ones. I'm gonna take a little bit of vanilla and just dot it underneath the eyes, and then a little bit on my nose, just down the center. And then I'm gonna take sand and dot it right below vanilla, right around my nose here, and then down the center of my face. Just a little bit there and a little bit there. That way the vanilla is really highlighting the under eyes. The sand is going to help kind of blend it a little bit more with my skin tone, but it's also going to cover up some of the excess redness that I may want to hide. And then the combination of the two is just great for brightening down the center of the face and then covering some more redness and hyperpigmentation. Taking my damp sponge, this one is from LC Cosmetics. I have concealer on the back of my hand and I actually get product onto my sponge because otherwise it tends to soak up more product once you have it on your face and you go in with a clean damp sponge. So I'm just using the flat side to blend out the sand. If I am doing just full glam, chances are I'll probably use more concealer than I'm using right now. I hate the look of having super perfect under eye areas when you're doing light makeup and you can see like imperfections on the rest of your skin. So I'm taking the pointed side now and just kind of getting it into the rest of the product so it's not clean, or as in it's clean like germ-wise. You guys know what I mean. And then I'm gonna just blend out my concealer. And I'm taking it in the same kind of triangular shape because I want it to still mimic the way light hits your face naturally. And then anywhere where the lighter concealer gets where you don't want it to, or if it looks too light here, take the bottom part and just blend it out. And then same thing on the other side. This sponge is great because the point is so sharp. This is a little like bent. It looks a little funny. It was in my makeup bag. It kind of does all the work for you. Another thing I do, even on light makeup, makeup days, I take the concealer onto the sides of my nose just to give me a more natural nose contour. The more you blend, the more natural your makeup is going to look. I mean, obviously if you do full glam, no one is like, oh my god, she just woke up with that smoky eye. But like, you know what I mean. This is the Hourglass Veil Mineral Loose Powder. The e.l.f. blush brushes are like my go-to under eye powder brush. They're $3. You cannot go wrong with this bad boy. And I'm going to get some product on the brush. Not a lot, just that much. And rather than baking, I'm going to just lay it down with this brush. But what you always want to make sure, whether you're doing full face or light makeup, is that you take your sponge or whatever you use for your concealer and just really make sure that you are blending. If it's creased pre-setting, then you're basically setting those creases. Just go in, tap, 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 light hands. You don't want to be rough around the eye area ever. And same thing on the other side. I will always get the eyelids to set that too. That way it's primed, it's also evened out. I'm trying to just let these last few lash extensions go. Not that I don't love them, but I just miss gluing on false lashes. But like these ones will not let go, which goes to show that they're like great quality. They're really on there, but like, ladies, leave. So I'm just taking the same brush and I'm setting first and foremost the areas that tend to crease the most on me, which is around my nose, right here. And I'm using very little powder, light layers. And then I'm gonna go in with this Eco Tools brush, grab a little bit of powder. If you feel like you have too much powder, dust it off in the cap because the cap has a really cool shape to it. And then dust over your face. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It is a matte bronzer, and this is the Benefit Hoola contour and bronzer brush, I believe. And I'm just gonna be real liberal with this. I always choose bronzer colors that are not significantly darker than me, just so that I can go in. But even so, same thing, light layers so that you can build up that color. I like to take this across my nose and basically warm up the skin the way the sun would warm up my skin. Pretend like we can erase this double chin here. I like to take my bronzer along my jawline just to sharpen it up. Relax, hoops, relax. And then my chin, upper lip area. Nothing about this is super precise because this is usually done in a state of I'm late, because I'm late to everything, literally. We're also going to use Wayne Goss's buffing technique. So if anything looks too intense, don't worry, we will fix that. And I am just gonna take that bronzer down the neck because it's a slightly different tone from my body. So I wanna kind of create somewhat of a transition. I am using two different highlighters. One is from Glamglow, and this is the Glamglow Glow Powder. It's basically 3 different powders that have hyaluronic acid in them actually, so it's just like a hydrating powder. And I'm taking this center shade onto a Sigma F03 brush, and I'm just gonna hit that cheekbone and really take a minute to buff. And I like to take it up around the brow just to give you that arch of light. Highlight is another thing I'm super liberal with on a light makeup day, because if you are glowing, you look a lot more put together, I feel, and it's very minimal effort. I'm gonna take this onto the brow bone and extend it into my highlight so everything looks well connected. Now I'm taking a Fenty Beauty highlighter, and this is the Mean Money Hustla Baby Duo, which I dropped and it's cracked. So I'm gonna go in with the more glittery side, which is the Hustla Baby side. Same brush, and I'm just gonna layer that on top. For my blush, I'm using the Too Faced Natural Face palette, and I'm gonna go in with these 2 center shades. This is Pink Wink and Pink Sand on a Real Technique stippling brush, and I'm just gonna mix them up and then pop that onto my cheek. I like to kind of focus on the apple of the cheek and then brush it back. And by putting on the highlighter before you put on blush, you can kind of start blending the highlighter in just with the blush. And just build it up until you feel happy with the amount of blush. that's on your cheeks. Okay, Nisha, you should stop. Fear not, because we are going to buff it out. I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in number 2 medium, and the same exact Eco Tools brush that I used for my other powder, and I'm just gonna swirl this liberally, and then I'm going to use that swirl on one half of the face and just go to town buffing over everything we just did. And just blend over the areas if you feel like you need to blend more. Just spend a couple extra seconds there. Voila! Look at how crazy that is, right? So you can still see the glow, there's still some bronze, there's still some blush, but it just looks like skin. And you want to use a powder that has a slight pigment just because it helps kind of blend everything together, which is why this is one of my favorites, because it's great for all skin types. It comes in 3 different shades, which makes it amazing for everybody to try. And we are blended. Isn't that awesome? Wayne Goss is a genius. Once I buff everything out, I like to just go back in and add anything back in that I think I want to enhance. So I'm just gonna go back in with the Fenty Beauty highlighter and just boost it a little bit just on the high parts. And then I'm gonna take some bronzer, same one, same brush, and just add some back in. This bronzer is dangerous because it tastes like chocolate, and I feel like it just creates an excuse to just use too much of this. I'm taking this Zoeva 234 Luxe Smoky Shader brush and dipping it into the Fenty highlight and adding some highlight right there to my nose and then right onto the tip of the nose. And then also getting the Cupid's bow. I like to keep my eye makeup really simple by just adding a little bit of shape and definition to them on an easy go-to makeup look. And so I start off with my bronzer and I just take a brush, a blender brush. This is the Sigma E25 blending brush. And I'm gonna pop my bronzer, dust it into my crease, and blend that up a little bit. And then I'm taking the same brush and just taking some of this under the eyes. So I have really glowy, dewy looking skin, and I like to let that be the focus rather than my eye makeup. Slash, when I'm doing this look, I'm usually running late. So this is kind of what I go with because it's easy, it's quick, and it's less products that I have to use. Then I'm going back in with the Zoeva blender brush and into the Fenty Beauty highlight. I'm just gonna pop that onto the inner corner. And I actually like to drag it up so it kind of gives you that open-eyed look. Same thing on the other side. I like natural, thick, bushy looking brows. So I'm just taking my Hourglass Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. I have mine in the shade Soft Brunette. You can totally, if you have thinner brows and you want more coverage, use a little bit of a pencil and just fill in any gaps. Really, any part of all of this, you can totally adjust and add. It's just personal preference. So that's what the gel on my brows alone looks like. On days when I want a little more precision, I'll take a pencil like this one. This is the Kat Von D Signature Brow, and I have mine in the shade Light Brown. And I will just take this and run this through areas that I think if I fill in a slight bit, it makes both my brows look a little more even. You don't need them to look exactly the same because that's not super realistic. Unless, of course, again, you like that look, then go for it. I'm using the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix 02. Just let that dry for a second. So for my eyes on a regular basis, I just pop on a lot of nice, thick, voluminous, lengthening mascara. But recently, because I've had eyelash extensions, I haven't really needed to do that. However, I am on the last few threads of my lash extensions and it looks crazy if I just put mascara on. So for the sake of today's video, I did pop on false lashes. These are from Kiss. They're the blowout lash in the style Pixie. And I did pop mascara onto my lower lashes using the Grande Cosmetics Grande Mascara Lash Boosting Formula. For the lips, I like to just pop pop on kind of a tinted lip gloss. My favorite one is from Fenty, the Gloss Bomb. But for today, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Flesh Fantasy Lust Gloss Lip Gloss. You can totally use matte lips, lip liner, whatever you want. I like the way gloss looks when I have this really glowy skin and everything just looks fresh and light. So this here is the final look. My go-to pretty easy makeup besides the lashes, of course, which are totally optional. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It's been a minute since I've done one, but I totally plan on getting back on the tutorial bandwagon starting right now. So leave a comment down below with any video requests you have and I will get to them ASAP. But until my next video, thank you guys as always so much for tuning in and I'll catch you soon. Bye.